Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to our day 2 of the training. I really hope you guys can now hear me. Kennedy or Konda, maybe you can just confirm. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Thank you. So we're just going to start off. It's already 8:05 p.m. East African time, that is. So we're just going to start off. Now, today we're going to talk about Rust programming language. So we're going to basically do an introduction to Rust programming language and what it basically entails. Now, it's good that we start doing this as early as possible. Now, like I said yesterday, for you to be certified, for you to be near certified developer, you're going to need to work on your demo project by the end of this particular training. And you need to start ideating on what you're going to work on as a demo project by the end of this particular training as early as now. So please start doing that, ideate on your project, and as soon as you have the right skills to start it off, please do so. Now we're going to talk about Rust programming language, and what you need in this class this session will basically be Rust tools, what I asked us to install yesterday in our previous class. And if you did the installation right, then you should have Cargo as well installed in your machine. So those are the two tools you're going to need for this session. And yeah, let's do this. So I'll just share my editor. Great. So here we are. I hope you guys can see the screen I just shared, the editor, VS Code. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I really hope you can see that. I just launched my terminal within the VS Code. Now, right here, we're going to do some very few tests before we proceed. Then you're going to see how we're going to proceed from there. So the very first thing I'm going to check is if I have Rust installed within my machine. So I'll just do Rust up version. Okay, and it gives me a version right there, Rust version 1.24.3. That is what I have. Now, I also have a resource Rust C for compiling all my source code or Rust source code. So in this case, we're just going to do a hello world, right? Like every other language, there's always a hello world program. So in this case, I'm just going to create a new file right here. So I'm going to touch, we'll call it hello.rs. Now, Rust files have an extension of .rs, that is to basically notify the compiler that is a Rust file. So I just created that file. I'll minimize the terminal for now. Then I'll just open this up in my terminal. Then from this point, we're going to print this. So we're basically going to print a string hello world. So this is basically how we do print in Rust. Hello world. Yeah. So that should do it. Then for me to compile this, for me to sort of now be able to run this particular file, I'll first need to compile it down. So after compiling it to a bytecode, then I can be I'll be able to run that particular bytecode. So in this case, I'm going to do Rust C, then simply provide a path to our file, the hello.rs file. So in this case, hello.rs. Let's see what that does. Oh, sorry. So it tells me that there's an error in my statement, and let's see what the error is. Right here, main function is not, or the main function was not found within what my file. So what do we do in this case? Let's see. Okay, so I'll just clear this out for now and try and compile that again. Let's see what that is going to give us. So that was just successful. Now, what happened in this case? Rust compiler is trying to check for the main function in your project. And if it finds that particular main function, then it is going to begin its compilation from that main function. So in my previous statement, I didn't include the function. That is why we saw the error. But now in this case, I've availed the function. In this case, it is a public function because it has to be public. So that just generated these sort of bytecode. Now, for me to run my file, I can simply do hello. That gives me hello world. Or I should do, I don't know if that can work now. So you run the file without the RS extension, the bytecode that has just been generated. So in that case, we get our hello world string as expected. Okay, so that is the bare bones on how you really can go about your Rust code. In case you guys have any question, you can just shoot up your hand or put it in the chat. Okay, there's one hand up. Daramola? Daramola? Maybe if you could just...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I wanted to ask, I think I don't get a part of why the statement did not run initially. Okay. Is it like it's required that every file will need to create that main function before it can execute or not?
Okay, I'm going to address that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can get you. I've had your question.
Okay, sir. Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can get you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Please
okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was having network issue right from the start, so I didn't see how everything went through. So please, if you can recall from the start, I'll be so grateful.
Okay. So I'll just let's do this, then we proceed. So I'll just delete all these. Let me just delete all these. So I just opened up a folder or a directory that I will be going to work from. Then in order to introduce the language, I said we're going to create a hello world program. So basically a program that is going to print the string hello world. Okay. Now to achieve this, we need a file. In this case, I named the file hello.rs, and I said Rust files usually have the .rs extension. So that way the compiler is able to, distinguish it from the other files within the directory. So we just created that file, hello.rs. Then I began my program by writing print hello world string, right? Then we went ahead and tried to sort of compile this down and run. see if this works. Now we're going to use Rust C. Now you should have Rust C from this installation procedure I shared yesterday. You should have this within your machine by now. So I'm going to do Rust C hello.rs. Sorry guys, hello.rs, and you realize there's an error that there's an error generated right here saying that main function not found in create hello. So our compiler was looking for a function named main, a public function named main within our file, but then it never found that particular function. So it was unable to sort of initialize the compilation of a particular file, because all main function is sort of an entry point within our program. So it was looking for that function, but then it couldn't find it. So in this case, I went ahead and sort of just restructured the statement. Then I brought in the main function. And in this case, I put the statement to print the word hello world within it as a statement within that main function. Now, if we go ahead and let me just clear this out. So if we go ahead and I don't know if you guys can really see this clearly. Sorry for that.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I hope you can see the fonts clearly. Right?
Yes, I do. I do see the font clearly from my end.
Okay, so from this point, I just made the change. Now we're going to do Rust C and provide a file that we're going to compile down. And that just happened successfully. So you realize there's a file that is generated right here. Unfortunately, my editor could not open that. So that is basically the bytecode you're going to run from our terminal in order to be able to see what exactly the program is doing. So in order to do that, I'm basically going to do hello. In this case, I'm running this particular file from my terminal by doing hello or providing a path to it. And that will simply give us hello world. Now, if you're on Windows, if you do Rust C hello.rs, it should generate an executable file. So simply by double clicking on that executable file, you should be able to see hello world printed. For those of us who are in Windows. So this directly generates that particular file. Okay, yeah, we'll be sharing the recordings by the end of the class of the session, sorry. Now, I think you're done with that. So that is basically what I wanted to show us, guys, how you basically could write a hello world program in Rust. Now, we're going to work on a series of concepts within the language, the programming language. And in this case, we're going to need to sort of work from a project point of view. In this case, we're going to utilize cargo. Now, maybe if I can just share these with us. So I'm just going to, sorry. So I'll just share this screen. So I hope you can see the screen. I just Googled for Rust programming language, then clicked on the first link, and this is what was brought up. Now, if you visit this page, this is basically going to tell you more about Rust. You basically talk more about Rust and why it is used. Now, Rust is in the family of C, C++, and the like, because it's majorly used for system softwares. So if you're programming, say, drivers and such like things, this language is best fit for that because it overpowers C, C++ in some various ways. One of it is what you call ownership, and I'll be showing us how the language sort of brings this together. Now, with the other system languages you know of, you sort of need to do garbage collection within your program, right? Now, there's a way that is solved in Rust. by a concept we refer to as ownership. In this case, once you declare a variable within your program, and you're going to assign the value of that particular variable to another variable, or you're going to pass down that value to a function, then the variable you initially declared is going to cease reference to that particular value. So in other words, it's going to be automatically be out of scope. Okay, so we're basically going to see how that is achieved within the language. Now, if I head back to our presentation, right here. So right now I'm sharing a terminal we're going to use. So we're going to use this terminal to initialize our project. Now, like I said, just like other languages, Node, we have.
Sorry to disturb you. Your profile is covering the end. That is covering some things in the screen which are needed to be seen.
Okay. So maybe I can just put off the video for now. Is that okay? Hello?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay now.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, we're also having some questions in the chat. I'll be responding to those in a while, please. Now, I was saying that like other programming languages, the likes of JavaScript, we have NPM node package, right? We also have Python. Which one is for Python? Pip, right? Yeah. Now, Rust also has a package manager, and in this case, we are referring to it as cargo. Now, if I wanted to initialize a project, then all I need to do, having the resources I told you guys to install in our previous session yesterday, you just need to do cargo new and the name of the project you need to initialize. In this case, we're going to use, what should we name this? Let's do it, okay, let's do it Sankore. Let's do Sankore. Okay, now, if you hit enter, this is basically going to create a project for us. Now, that was just done. So it was quite quick. If we list the files available now in this directory, you realize we have hello, rs, and Sankore. Now, I never deleted the files we created initially, but you realize now we have a directory added within the list, and it's named Sankore. Now, I'm just going to cd into that particular directory. I really hope you guys can see that. Now, I'm in Sankore, the project we just created. I'm going to clear my terminal for now. Now, if I listed the files, or maybe I can just open this up in, let's open this up in VS Code. Then I'll just share that. Yeah, so here we are. So I opened the project in the VS Code. So right here we have cargo.toml file. Now this is like a package.json file for those of us who are coming from JavaScript background. So right here you're going to put various configurations for your project. And if you're going to install any dependencies, or you're going to sort of use external dependencies within your project, then they're going to be listed right under the dependencies. That is line 8. They're all going to go right there. Now, this gives you the version of your application, basically the configuration of your project. Now, we also have the target directory. Now, we're going to compile our program as we proceed. And the bytecode that is going to be generated is going to go under this folder, the target folder. So for now, there's really not much you can see about or see inside this directory, but in time we're going to do that. Then we have within our source directory a main.rs file, and you realize it basically gives us as something similar to what we had in our previous Hello World program. So in this case, we have a main function, and within it is a print line Hello World statement. Now, if we were to run this, other than going through the steps of Rust C and blah, 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 Cargo makes it sort of easy for us. So we just need to do, if we're going to run this particular source code, we just need to do cargo run, and that should be able to compile it down and execute the bytecode file generated. In this case, if we head on to our target directory, under the debug folder, you realize we have, in this case, they called it Sankore, okay? So we have this file. So this is what was compiled down and what was actually executed, okay? So that is basically how our project structure is going to look like. So I'll also clear that out for now, guys. Then I'll just respond to your question in the chat for a moment. Then you're going to proceed with the other concepts. Now, if I could get these here, just have you. Okay. So, George, you're trying to ask, is it because Rust is a compiled language? So when you run it, compiles an executable file, which you then execute to see your result. I don't know if there was a question before that, George, but I think I've not understood it. Maybe if you can just come up and maybe speak that out. So Alan, you're asking, why did NEAR engineers settle on Rust as the idea programming language for NEAR protocol? I really may not be able to tell that why, but from the speculation, it could be because it's a system language, an efficient system programming language in this case, because of the advantages I'll be talking about in a bit. Then, okay. The advantages I'll be talking about in a bit as we proceed with our concepts or with the programming. Then the other thing is it's strongly typed. So in this case, any business you're going to transact on blockchain, we don't need to sort of make assumptions. Now, if you're coming from JavaScript background, you realize that as long as you're doing any number, you're assigning any number to a variable, it could take any type, okay? It could be a float, it could be an integer, it could be, an unsigned integer and all that. Now, with these, the values you're providing, or the variables you're declaring has to have or contain an explicit type to them. I don't know if that settled your concern, Alan. Then Philip, maybe you can just go ahead. You have a question?
Okay. So I also realized, in as much as you can use a terminal to create a cargo file, you can also do it manually by going to file, create cargo.toml, then create a file called src. Then in that file, in that folder, create a file called main.rs. So the question is there a difference when you do it that way compared to when you do it with the terminal?
I really don't think there's any much difference. I think just to make things easier, okay? Because we still could go ahead and create these files separately and bring them in, bring them to one folder and say that is going to be our project, and it still could run from that point. So I think this is basically availing sort of a standard, okay? So that instead of someone having the main file within the main, or let me call it the root directory of the project, it is put inside the src folder, but still everything would work normally.
Okay. So thank you so much.
Okay. There's really no much there's nothing much behind the arrangement or using this or that. You can still do that manually, or you can choose to go with cargo procedures. Yes, George, you could just unmute. I don't know if I've given you that. Let me see. Okay, thank you. You can just unmute and go, please.
Oh yeah. I just noticed, like, when can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can get you.
I noticed, like, when you first run the Rust-C and the file, it creates another file, and then that is the file that you run, like the file that you can see what is happening.
Yeah.
So like if you see the, like, there are languages which are called compiled languages, and then there are languages which are interpreted.
Yeah.
So I think because it's in the same family of C, like you have, it compiles itself first, and then now you can execute the compiled file, but you can't just run it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. You're right.
Yeah. And then I also just wanted to comment on the other question that he was asking, like you can create it, you can create without doing the cargo thing.
Yeah.
But I think the point of a package manager is just to give you a template with everything that you need. So for example, like if you go into the target folder and maybe, for example, there's gitignore, there's cargo lock, all that. Like I think the point of using a packet manager is for it to generate for you all the packages and dependencies that you need to run a program. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure. Without having to
so
do that.
you can go the hard route, but like with one command you can just do everything, instead of, because creating those files, it can be tedious as well, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's actually it. So I really hope you guys are getting this. Collins, you're not in yesterday's session, so here is the link where you can download Rust from, because that is the only assignment we had in our previous session. So you just go ahead and download it, and you'll be good to go. Now, so we are here. So we can just start looking at Philip. Your hand is still up. I don't know if you have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Thank you. So we're going to proceed with the other concepts right here now. Now, like I said, that is so we're going to work from our main.rs file to do all other tasks we're going to do. Now, in order to make our work sort of organized, I'm going to create other files that we're going to sort of present concepts in, and we're going to import them within this main.rs file, so that we don't clutter the view of this particular file. So I'm just going to create, so first of all, let's talk about the printing in Rust. So this is basically going to deal with displaying content either in your terminal. In this case, it's basically going to use your terminal. So basically how you can do that. So within this file, you're going to have a public function. Let's call these, let's call this something else. Let's call it show. Okay. So within this function, we're going to print a string. In this case, let's just call it hello, because we want to test if you can actually import it. Now we're going to import it as should be print. Then inside here we do print show. Now guys, if you're on VS Code, you realize that I have some sort of Intellisense within Rust, so you can just go ahead and look for this package. Should be Rust. Let me get these. Yeah, you need to get this package. So this is basically going to avail some sort of intelligence within your code so that you don't have to remember what you've done actually previously. So these will really come in handy if you're in VS Code. You can just go and pull that from the extensions. Now back to our file. I'm just going to comment out this, or we can just do away with it altogether. Now, I just sort of declared a function in a print.rs file, and in it, it's basically going to print hello string using that print line statement. Now, I brought it in the main.rs file as follows. Now, in Rust, any Rust file is defined as a module. So to import it in any other Rust file, so you're basically pulling the content in, then you're going to import it as illustrated in line 1. Then sorry guys, can you hear